system. Julia is the organisation, but it's a scholarship system to produce clinical psychologists who are from an Aboriginal background, because she finds that there are features of the Aboriginal culture and cast of mind which don't actually respond to the sort of help that can be given by clinical psychologists of a non-Indigenous background. What did you do for her, and what did you do with her?
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable respect and admiration for Dr. Tracy Westman and what she's trying to do in her endeavours. And, you know, it's a long way when she was nominated for Australian of the Year. It was my own experience, and I remember sharing this story with her. I remember going up to into the Kimberley, and specifically Derby and Luma, and I was asked to after about 5 days to speak to the elders and speak to some community leaders and make a change. And I sat there in my donga 30 minutes before my presentation, ripped up all my pieces of paper and thought, I'm not the human or the individual that is appropriate to speak on matters that I don't have any understanding and education about. And I came back to Perth, and I was very confused because I was brought up there to inspire hope and bring and elevate resilience levels. But I thought, again, I had no real understanding of the culture that they were living in. And ironically, I met Tracy only a few weeks later and shared this story, and that's where our relationship started. And as you had mentioned, her incredible foundation educating Indigenous Australians to become psychologists. And so in that space, whilst I was playing professional basketball, when the NBL launched Indigenous round, again, I thought here's an opportunity where I could give back, but more so highlight the importance of her work. Unfortunately, often individuals like herself, who are incredible people, I don't believe get the recognition that they deserve. Me being in the national spotlight, knew I could share her story, share her message, and through that wore shoes that ideally would be auctioned off, and it was only during the Olympics timing I wanted to auction them off, Paddy Mills being the flag bearer of Australia. I just thought it was a nice touch, and as I put them up for auction and you know the figure kept rising, I thought, this would be, I was happy just to get it to a certain point. Joe Ingles, current Australian Boomers player, leadership group, private messaged me and said, what's the figure at? And then he doubled it. And it was more so, I think, obviously the figure was tremendous, but more so than his interest in what she actually did. And that speaks amounts of not only him, but what the sporting landscape do, but then as well of what she's doing as well. It was remarkable. Very
generous. It was. I know her, and I know the struggle she has raising money. It would have been a pure delight, but more than that, from her own point of view and her own morale, it would be an indication to her that she's on the right track.
Absolutely.
That these things were happening. So it's really very good of you to do that. You write blogs, and I was given one that you wrote on a 4-letter word, stay.
Yeah.
Now, that's a rather banal word, stay. Yeah, well, we use it in a million different contexts. Yeah. But then you had a list of things, for a list of attitudes, fears, behaviours, intentions, in the main intentions. And then you introduced into your consideration of it that word. What was that about?
Yeah, I mean, in essence, it's about suicide. It's obviously a real significant issue in Australia. It's the single most preventable disease from the age groups of 15 to 49, and I highlight the word preventable because something can be done about that, and that's the work that we as an organisation do in terms of education. But highlighting the word, again, stay, which, as you brought up, seems so simple. Sometimes the most simple things in life are the most important, but we generally disregard them. It's been moments in my life where I've been able to connect with individuals many times and have highlighted that word to them, because often their connection with me has given me the ability to believe that they have hope. And hope allows an individual to think for a moment. A allowing yourself to stay gives you an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to have a second chance, an opportunity to continue living. And ultimately, that's what I want people to do. Any life lost to suicide is tragic. And I think the more work that we can do as communities to educate ourselves, but as well as others, and acknowledge the importance of mental health, not only in a time of a pandemic, but once we transition out, ideally is a battle that is worth fighting for every single day.
Well, this month, of course, contains World Suicide Prevention Day, and more locally, Are You OK?
Yeah.
So what you've just been talking about then obviously fits right into the heart of the month. Finally, how are the family with all of this? How are they going?
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, a huge part of me retiring was to be able to spend more time with my beautiful children and my wife, and knowing that I've got a good balance in my life. It's a tough thing to be able to balance it both out, knowing that you will receive a message sometimes in ungodly hours because that someone has believed and has trust in you. But again, my wife is an incredible woman, has given me all the strength for, I guess, freedom to be able to chase these dreams, knowing that, we can do so much more with not just winning a game of basketball, but actually impacting lives, and that's pretty cool.
Well, Greg Hire, Australian basketball hero, Wildcat denizen, championship winner, now making a life that means something fundamental to so many young West Australians, or West Australians more broadly than just youth. Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for having a chat with me.
No, thanks, Governor. Really appreciate it.
You've been listening to Conversations at Government House, featuring interviews by the Governor of Western Australia, the Honourable Kim Beazley AC. For more episodes and chats with some wonderful West Australians and special guests, please remember to like and subscribe to the show in Apple Music, Spotify, SoundCloud, or wherever you get your podcasts.